Okay. Cue the music.
He says that we might be starting our latest start ever.
Welcome, one and all, to another edition of Everyone Hates Us, the podcast dedicated to the art of winning and the beautiful sport of baseball. And we're going to get into a little bit of college football. I am Euno Lee, your host, joined by my gracious co-host, Dan Grievitz, Collin Murphy. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? What's going on?
What up?
Hanging on by the skin of my teeth here with my fantasy life. So,
You want to talk about skin of your teeth fantasy life? When I just had to do a 12-team auction draft while taking my 3-year-old son through Trader Joe's. Okay. I bid $20 on Joe Burrow yesterday. All right. It was rough. Okay. Like Joe Burrow would have to do the same thing he did last year to be even remotely worth $20. He would have to be QB3. That would be a tall order, as it were. So,
yeah, those are the benefits of fun employment and being being single. Like I spent literally all afternoon yesterday preparing for my first fantasy draft of the season, and it was like 6 hours. It was great. I absolutely nailed the draft. It was I'm excited for that league.
This is a fun one, Grievitz, because it's a no bench like league with a punter, defense, head coach that you have to draft as well.
Punter?
As a kicker. Yep.
yeah,
punter.
a punter.
Nice. I haven't had a punter league in a long time.
Inside the 10, inside the 20, negative for touchbacks. It's a chaos league.
That's good.
And yeah, the auction draft just makes it a very
auction draft is always fun. I wish we did it more. It always creates very interesting, much more interesting teams than the normal, I think.
Dan, it's so long. It's so long. And it's like, and this one's tough because, as Collin mentioned, there is no bench. So it really is like the prices that you can't really, you can't really anticipate those prices. And people will all in on like one or two players. Like I think one of the teams had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, which was pretty funny.
Team LSU right there. It's just
oh my
gosh,
the
glory days.
If one of those guys goes down, that team gets real dark real fast. Like, whoo. We're not here to talk about fantasy football. We're here to talk about real college football at the end of this episode. And we're here to talk about some baseball because, guys, the season is in full swing. We're heading towards the home stretch. It's getting real spicy. But before we get to that, so guys, I was driving to Trader Joe's yesterday, and I couldn't help but notice on the backs of some of these cars that I see in sunny, beautiful West LA are like bumper stickers indicating like where their kid goes to school. Like, what exclusive school did my child get into? And so it'll be like, oh, like proud Stanford mom, or, like honor roll at the insert school name here. And everybody likes to be recognized, right? Like, I think we all like a little recognition. Let's not lie to one another. But there's always that one that really stands out. And that's the one that I'm going to ask you guys about today. All right. And Dan, apparently you have a visual. So I'm going to go ahead and pin you. And I want to see, what is your most prized, your favorite award that you've ever received?
I have here my best song trophy from the 48-hour film fest. This is the one that allows me to tell people that I'm an award-winning songwriter, even though and not lie. I wrote a song for this short film in about 10 minutes in the pre-existing Final Cut profile, and I won a trophy for it. And it's the most bullshit award I've ever won, and I treasure it because it lets me say that I'm an award-winning songwriter. That movie was funny in general because I won 3 trophies for it, none of them for the filmmaking. Like, it was best original song, best like credits, like captions and credits, and then best use of prop. Like,
I'm sorry, that second one sounds like one of those like kind of You know,
Look,
like
man,
what the hell? That's a
I didn't
category.
I didn't make the cat. I didn't know it was a category. I just, I had to.
But it won 3 awards.
Won 3 awards.
Multiple award-winning film that you made there.
Yeah, none for the actual filmmaking.
Yeah, but you don't have to say that.
The best.
You know?
No, I don't. I usually don't. But the best. But I do say award-winning songwriter.
There you go.
No.
I'm going to introduce you that way from now on. Award-winning songwriter Daniel Grievitz.
Thank you.
That's really awesome. I like that one. Murph, you don't have yours on hand because it's more of a. I'm gonna pin Murph here. If those of us who are watching this,
there was an award. Everything I had pre-college all burnt down in my parents' house. Burnt down by the arsonists.
Oh, geez.
So I don't actually have like any awards I have from high school and before, or even some of my college ones either. Because I used to give them to my parents because they all liked it more than I did. And when you're in a small like dorm room, it's like I don't need to necessarily have all my stuff. So yeah, but yes, mine is from high school. It's from my senior year, and I won the student athlete of the year. The paper acknowledged me for it, and yeah, that's my favorite award by far. I think because it kind of touched the things I cared most about at that point in my life, which was, academically, I was very proud that I was the valedictorian of my high school. And
I'm going to slide that in there.
Yeah, we'll have to. And that, I was, a starter in 3 different sports and was all state in football, all region in soccer, and I started on the basketball team. Didn't really make any recognition in basketball, but just kind of the fact, that's the award wasn't necessarily about who's the best athlete, It's a decent student, nice little combo stuff. And it kind of fit with like kind of how I viewed myself, which is maybe I'm not the best at any sport, but very much a jack of all trades, like pretty good at several different ones.
Funny how that works out, Murph. You didn't get that much recognition for your basketball, but you got the ultimate recognition for your basketball by going to Caltech and joining the basketball team. Like that is.
Well, that was actually part of it too. Was I did feel like my basketball story wasn't finished, so to speak. I felt pretty good with wrapping up my football life with how everything went out.
Alaska, Northern Lights out. That is a highlight.
No, the other guy went lights out. My lights were still on.
That's what I'm saying. Like that is like you can call it a career after that. It's like that's a Sheldon Brown hit on Reggie Bush. It's like the only reason why we know Sheldon Brown's name is because he hit Reggie Bush that hard. Like that is.
But yeah, that also was I've been playing with the same kid since I was in 4th grade. So like wrapping that up at the end of high school is an unparalleled level of consistency and teammates what I never had in any other sport, even growing up in like Alaska, where the teams are a little bit more stable than they are in California, where everyone's very mercurial, I'd say, jumps around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then soccer, I felt pretty good about how soccer ended as well. But basketball, I don't know, I just felt like there was still meat on the bone, and I kind of wanted to still pursue that a little bit more.
I like that. It ended up being a pretty big deal. Those of us, for those who haven't listened to previous episodes, Collin Murphy, of course, part of that Caltech, that legendary Caltech basketball team that won their first conference game, like broke a conference losing streak at Caltech.
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
310 games,
310 game losing streak in conference.
Yeah.
That is sheesh.
It's long.
It's a long one. 310 games is a lot of games, guys.
In my defense, I wasn't there for the vast majority of that. So,
Yeah, I'm not saying Collin was. No, we're celebrating it because you were the one who ended it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like,
and I was a sophomore, so.
Yeah, Caltech had not won a conference game since prior to the fall of the Berlin Wall, I believe, was my favorite stat that I came up with. So that's. And then, Collin comes in town and gets a Sports Illustrated feature about how he was a key component of that team. And I have no doubt about it. Somebody who has worked alongside Collin, his leadership skills and his ability to just kind of find ways is one of the more impressive things. One of the reasons why we've remained friends for as long as we have. The man finds a way. And so, really honored to have him in our company. And Caltech needs to add Collin to the Hall of Fame. I said it. This is my, you know what?
Continuing plug, yeah.
Continuing plug. Collin Murphy belongs in the Caltech Hall of Fame. Caltech Athletics Hall of Fame. Yeah. Because sorry, Murphy.
I will say
you didn't win a Nobel Prize.
I know deserves to be in that Hall of Fame more than Collin Murphy.
I agree. I agree. Actually, no.
Appreciate the support, guys.
Man. All right. So I was thinking about this, and I realized the award I'm most proud of is not one that I won myself, but actually one that I played a part in winning for somebody else. Which was I worked at the school paper at USC, and our year was one of the first years back entering this California College Media Association competition to win. Basically, it's just we're competing against all the schools in California to see who is the best at journalism, right? And so it's a quick tribute to my boy Ralph Chung. So I had a photographer friend at SC who was also Collin. You know him because he worked at Baller for a little bit. Ralph Chung.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that Ralph.
Yeah,
he was probably the best photographer that I had seen in my time at the Trojan. And he was, as somebody who was really good at his job and super passionate, not the most popular guy in the office. And, people were kind of, I think Ralph had a pretty big temper, and, people who are really good at stuff tend to be kind of mercurial, and, they're little, people don't really know. And this is actually kind of speaks to the heart of why this podcast is named this. Like, everyone hates us. Like, people who are really good at things tend to be not so good at relating with other people and stuff like that sometimes, especially if you're younger. And Ralph was that guy. He was incredible as a photographer. He was also incredibly unpopular in the newsroom. And I loved him because I didn't care. I didn't care how popular or unpopular we were. I cared that he was an amazing photographer and he was so trustworthy. And I wish I was trying to find the freaking photo. But so I was part of a one-man committee that selected the entries for these CCMAs. And I basically told a couple folks on the staff, if we could kind of get together the photos we were going to submit. And of course, none of Ralph's really made the cut because, again, extremely unpopular. I mean, he just got heat for all kinds of stuff. But, like, honestly, the way I saw Ralph, he was mostly harmless. He was one of the hardest working kids I knew. And I really love him. Like, I still love him. I love that kid. And I can't call him a kid. He's a dad. But so I pulled some of Ralph's and I put them side by side. And I looked at them and I was like, there is no way you're going to convince me that this guy is not the guy. Does that make sense? Like, I just, the photos that gave us the best chance to win were Ralph. And it gave me immense pleasure to be able to submit these photos on Ralph's behalf. And sure enough, the photo that won was a photo of, it was a Ferguson, Missouri protest in Los Angeles regarding what happened in Ferguson. For those of you who remember back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so the photo that Ralph got, and I wish I had it because a picture is worth a million words. This one's worth a million words. Was a photo of a face-off between a protester and basically like police in riot gear. And you could see the officer's eyes behind the mask. It was this very stern look. And then the look of the protester was one of like kind of just, I don't want to say like insolence, but like from an officer's perspective, it would look kind of insolent. It looks like they just can't be fucked to care about this officer. They're just tired looking. And it was an amazing photo. It won first prize, hands down. It was like not even close. Okay, I saw the other two. I was like, this shit wasn't close. All right. Ralph won first prize. It's to this day, the thing I'm most proud of, that anything award related, because I was able to get this guy who was so good at his job, who worked so hard, the recognition he deserved, even if he was getting a ton of flack in the newsroom. He wasn't everybody's favorite person to work with. But he was just goddamn good at his job. And I'm just really glad that he was able to get the acknowledgement he freaking deserved. Because this guy was, to get that shot that I'm talking about, you have to be really close to the subject. Like, you cannot, and that means you're on the front lines between literally cops in riot gear and protesters. Like, you're right there. And that is some crazy shit that only Ralph Chung would do. So I was really proud that he got his acknowledgement for that. Yeah, he won first prize. I still remember him using his plaque as like a like a hat in the rain. He was just like didn't give a shit. But yeah, that remains the most proud I've been of anything awards related, was just helping Ralph get that. That was awesome. So that's my favorite award. Sorry, that was really long.
You're good.
Heart
Shout
out
out
of 5.
Ralph.
Shout out to Ralph Chung. Ralph, if you're listening, you know I love you. Your son, his son's the GOAT. He's so funny. Like, yeah, Benjamin's awesome. Yeah, shout out to Ralph Chung. I think he's back in the States because his wife is at MIT. Sorry, Murph. Yeah, sorry, Murph. Anyway, why are we talking about awards? Because you know what, guys? MLB awards are unlike these awards because, you know, teammates help you get there. But in MLB, the awards really are celebrations of individual accomplishment. And that's why I wanted to kind of find out who really deserves these awards, you know? And the beautiful thing about baseball is we can assess your performance essentially in a vacuum. You know, we can kind of pull the numbers out and really get to the heart of who's really contributing what. And so I want to start off with a discussion of who's going to win, guys. Like who's that guy, right, this year? And so I want to get to, let's start with the AL Cy Young. All right. He's going today, Collin, so be careful. We have a nasty trend on this podcast where one of us will slander a player and then they will freaking go off like that day or the day after. I think Suarez last week caught some strays, immediately goes like, 3 for 4 or something. Like,
oh, I mean, yeah, great. That's the sort of, like, I love that for us. Like,
no, I love it too.
Yeah.
But be careful. Who is it going to be?
And then he turned it around.
He came back
immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it works in our favor. And
it works in our favor.
As far as hitting bombs.
He probably listens to the podcast live, and he's just like,
you're forced to harm.
God damn, Colin Murphy and Dan.
That's who he's going after.
Yeah.
just
talking trash about me. I'm gonna go hit some bombs. Let off some steam. All right, guys. AL Cy Young. Is it a 2-man race? We've got, of course, Tarek Skubal. I don't know what the hell Max Fried is doing on here, but sorry. That was rude. LA boy Max Fried. Shout out Max Fried. Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet seem to be the two front runners. Hunter Brown not too far behind. Is it a 2-man race, or will Brown deliver? I tried to sneak a UPS reference in there. What do we think of Murph? You're the fantasy owner of both Garrett Crochet and Tarek Skubal, so you can start.
Well, I'll just start off being biased, I guess, then, and say Hunter Brown, I think, needs both guys to kind of implode a little bit. I think both guys have had such solid seasons. Like, we're starting to hit into September. The volume is going to work against Brown as well at this point. He's about 2 to 3 starts below them in innings pitched, 17 to 18 innings or such. So if you're going to do that, you have to be killing the rate stats, and he just isn't right now. So I think he's always going to have that inning light limit on himself. So he kind of needs everyone else to kind of have a couple blow-ups. And then I think he maybe can sneak his way back in there, because what the Astros have been able to pull off this year with all their injuries is damn impressive. So he's going to get a little bit of a narrative boost in that regard. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at Skubal and Crochet, 2.3 ERA, 2.4 ERA, 166 innings pitched, 166.1 innings pitched, 212 strikeouts, 207 strikeouts. These guys are just neck and neck, across the board. The big difference between the two, and why Skubal is correctly favored, is Skubal just doesn't walk guys. His whip is a ridiculous 0.873. 25 walks compared to 42 for Crochet and 46 for Hunter Brown. It's absolutely amazing what he's been able to do to give away to stop all free passes. So Skubal, I think, is the slight front runner, even though he gave up 6 runs yesterday, only 1 was earned. So for fantasy reasons for me last night, and for his ERA as well, it didn't really seem to hurt him as much. But yeah, it's a Skubal Crochet 1-2 punch. Brown is just lingering there if anything funky happens, but it's tough to see him factoring his way into this, barring something unusual happening from two guys who have just looked absolutely stellar all year long.
Murph, you're going to pick one?
I think I would probably roll with Scooble just because I feel like the narrative is on his side a little bit. I think people in general view him as the better pitcher, even if Crochet is kind of matching him punch for punch right now. If you just hear the way that they're discussed amongst media members and stuff, it feels like people really hold Scooble into a higher regard at the moment. And I think that is going to give him just a little nudge forward if they remain about even. And as I said, he already has the better ERA. He hasn't been giving up any free passes. I believe right now he currently has the strikeout lead, although that could be seesawing depending on the starts. I think everything kind of leads Scooble, and even narrative, I would say lean Scooble. So I would as well lean there. And not that it like totally matters when it comes to baseball, but the Tigers do have currently the best record in the AL, and that could matter. Yeah,
it don't, but I'm just kidding.
I mean, it could matter in terms of who gets voted for, and like that's what we keep going back to. Like, it shouldn't matter, but it might. Yeah.
I mean, Dan, is there anything about being a Red Sox player that might add to Crochet's cachet, so to speak? Because the line I'm drawing here is that Turk School is represented by Scott Boras, who is baseball Skynet, right? Like he's just going to put the message out there and we're just going to have to listen. All right. Like, he is an Orwellian figure in baseball communications. So like, Dan, is there something to being a Red Sox player that might add to Crochet? Like, who do you got here?
Well, I think yes, but maybe not in the way that you mean, because I think being a Red Sox player this year means you're going to be in a race towards the end. There'll be a lot more significant games. There'll be a lot more attention put on each start. The Tigers have a 10.5 game lead over the next team. They might not let him go as deep. They might save him for the playoffs. I could see the numbers skewing towards Crochet towards the end. And he's been, like you said, it's been neck and neck. They've been equally as good. Scooble has been slightly better, but I could definitely see that tilting in the other way for Crochet. And, just for fun, I'll say that Crochet is going to win.
I like that. All right. Well, at least we've balanced out the mojo.
The important thing to remember, though, is that no matter what, my fantasy baseball team is winning right now.
All right. Anyway, moving on. So to a slightly less close Cy Young discussion, it seems that Paul Skeens is running away with it ever since it sounds like Zach Wheeler's not coming back this season, and he's kind of bowing out permanently, or at least for this year. And then the next closest is Christopher Sanchez of the Philadelphia Phillies. As Christopher Sanchez's fantasy manager, good. Like, you're not making it. It's Skeens after what you did to me yesterday. Like, I will not forgive you. -3. Anyway. Yeah. So is it Skeens to lose? Is it possible for Skeens to lose at this point? It just doesn't seem like there are any compelling competitors to Paul Skeens.
He'd have to get blown up at this point. I don't even think an injury would take him out of it at this point. BWAR for years is overvalued. Maybe not overvalued, but given very high WAR totals to Phillies pitchers, that has not really been commensurate with how they are viewed by the general public and the media. And this kind of stuff does matter, though. Like, people aren't going to be flocking to Christopher Sanchez. Like, just like people weren't flocking to Wheeler when his BWAR was right up there with the other Cy Young contenders the previous several years. I think people don't necessarily fully buy the DRS value of the Phillies defense just sucking as bad as it does, and that you can ignore all the other stuff and it's a boost to their pitchers. You can see this in the NL MVP vote too, where they're giving the big Schwarber is second in odds right now. And it's kind of the flip side of that is, they're not really doing park adjusting when, like, kind of, I guess, everything else with the Phillies to the way that everyone else seems to view them. Because if you do BWAR on, Schwarber, he should be nowhere in the conversation, but he's number 2 in betting odds. And I think you're going to see the flip of that here. Yeah, Christopher Sanchez is right, not too far behind Skeens in BWAR, but I don't really think people really view this as a serious race. I think Skeens barring getting blown up a couple times, I think they're going to give it to him. Plus, I think everyone just feels bad for him that he's in Pittsburgh.
That shouldn't count as a plus. But Skeens, of course, the prohibitive favorite. I believe the odds are about minus 800 last I checked. So it's looking like it's his to lose.
I saw it at minus 1,500 one somewhere.
Jeez Louise.
What I
Dan,
pulled up before this was minus 10,000.
Okay. So Dan, you're not no objections to this Cy Young for Paul Skeens' marriage.
Yeah, I think Skeens, it's his to lose. Something would have to drastically change, especially with Wheeler. None of the other guys in the NL, Christopher Sanchez after him. Who's closest? Matthew Boyd. Like it's
Don't say it like that, bro. Come on.
Like, Matthew Boyd's been great.
He's all right. Yeah, he's all right.
But yeah, Skeens, has a 200, like over 200 ERA plus. Like he's been crazy. Second best 50 game start to a pitcher's career ever. Like after Vita Blue. It's his to lose, and I think he's got I do think pitching so well on a bad team sometimes works narrative wise, which even though it shouldn't matter, it does.
Yeah, he is the only reason to go to a Pirates game. I'm sorry, really the only one. That team is dangerously close. It's one Paul Skeens away from being a nutting burger. So, all right.
They finally called up Bubba Chandler, though.
Oh yeah, dude,
No.
They just got pitching out the butt, dude. What's going on? All right. Speaking butts, here we go. Getting dumped. Here we go. Cal Raleigh. It's the AL MVP race. Cal Raleigh is doing Mickey Mantle things. The only player in MLB history, I believe, to hit 20 home runs from each side of the plate. At least 20 home runs from each side of the plate, which is insane. That is, I think we need the man splits are hilarious. I think it's like, doesn't matter lefty, righty. He's got an OPS above 900 for both. Pretty disgusting season he's having. And just so we're clear, he's behind Aaron Judge in wins above replacement because Judge has been the more effective bat, so to speak. He's been getting more contact. He's getting more balls in play that are, he's doing more than just homers than Aaron Judge. He's hitting the piss out of the ball. So are we getting tired of seeing Aaron Judge? And we'll talk about getting tired in a minute here. But are we getting tired of seeing Aaron Judge enough to where Cal Raleigh might get the bump, even though he has fewer reference WAR?
I will say the betting market's flipped after he hit his 50th last night. And I believe Raleigh is now minus 120. So he is the betting favorite now. It's been Judge all year as expected, but that last one did it. Also, he is above Judge in FWAR, which takes into account framing, and he's an above average framer as a catcher. Personally, I'm very sympathetic to a catcher having this nuclear of a season, especially if the guy is an above average defender and, framer. It's kind of like, what do you expect out of a catcher here? Like, this is really, really, it's an all-time season as a switch hitter. Like, let's not even forget the fact that he's a catcher doing this and doing a very good job at catching as well. So if I had to vote today, I would go with Cal Raleigh. I think he's been the story of the season, and that's who I would be voting for.
It's crazy, guys, because there's one FWAR has Cal Raleigh higher, and then RWAR has him lower. Dan, I don't know. What do you think? Like, there's a lot to consider, a lot to chew on here between Raleigh and Judge, especially at this point in the season when things are not fully known yet.
Really, what happens the rest of the way will definitely influence this a lot. If the Mariners catch the Astros and win the division, that would be huge for Raleigh's case. Meanwhile, if the Yankees keep being mired in this slump that they've been in, it will definitely keep hurting Judge's case. But yeah, they've both been great, obviously. Both have struggled a little bit in the second half. Raleigh, they've had very similar OPSs in the second half, but Raleigh just keeps hitting home runs anyways, which helps his case. I think you undersold a bit how better of a hitter Judge is, because he's beating him in batting average and on base and slugging. Like he's been objectively a better hitter. But with like Raleigh has 10 more home runs right now, and he's sort of the focal point of a team that's on a great run, and like everyone kind of likes the Mariners, and I definitely think if the season ended today, I think he'd win. And yeah, things seem to be trending in that position, especially since Judge's problems seem injury influenced. Like his numbers have fallen off since he had his elbow injury. Raleigh just sort of has ups and downs, and he looks kind of hot the last few days. So I think that slump might be ending.
I'd also throw in, as you point out with the injury, is Judge is DHing a lot more now. So he's not even, because he's a great defender in the outfield when he's able to play that, but he's not. Meanwhile, Raleigh playing catcher, probably the most taxing position that you could play. Yeah. And then also throw in, I mean, outside of San Francisco, is there a tougher place to hit than Seattle?
That's what I'm saying.
Like if you factor in some of these other things, I think it just makes Raleigh's season just even more impressive. Especially if you're right that he hasn't beat on the full triple slash, but I do think that there are other things around the border here that like help push it to Raleigh.
Yeah, for sure. I do think like Cal Raleigh won the Platinum Glove last year. Like he was an amazing defender last year. This year his numbers aren't there. Like he's definitely using that energy towards the offensive side of the ball, but he's still playing catcher, and still, that's still huge. Like that's providing a ton of value in and of itself. I agree with that. And yeah, I think we've also undersold just how historic the season is. We're in August 26th, and he already has the single season record for catcher home runs in a season. If he hits 5 more, he'll pass Mickey Mantle for most home runs by a switch hitter in a season. If he hits 7 more, he'll pass Ken Griffey Jr. for most home runs in a Mariners season. Like he is nearing some pretty crazy milestones, and we're not even in September yet. And yeah, like that's the kind of thing that wins you MVPs.
13 more, and it's a mortal lock, boys.
Is that I was just going to say, is like, what's the number to passing Judge? And that's
13. Yeah.
It's a mortal lock, boys. And so given, hey, what's funny is Eunice has both of these guys on her team, and
well, yes, that's funny. Even funnier, one of the stats that I found in Raleigh's favor as well, Raleigh leads Judge in wins probability added by like 0.1 as well. But the thing that shocked me is that second in the majors this year is Freddie Freeman, despite his long slump in the man. I mean, yeah, and he's ahead of both Raleigh and Judge by like a decent margin too. It goes Shohei, Freeman, gap, Raleigh, Judge, which surprised me, the level of that he was ahead of that. But I mean, it's Freddie Freeman, he's great. But another thing that I thought was worth mentioning is Cal Raleigh, if he won, would be like by a decent margin, at least unless he starts hitting a lot more, the worst batting average to win MVP. Like the previous record is like he's batting 247 this year. The lowest batting average to win ever is Shohei's 257 when he was at the Angels, but he was also pitching that year. The lowest batting average for anyone.
It wasn't Kershaw in like 2014.
That is a fair point. Yes, for a position player, and yeah, before for a position player not that wasn't pitching at the same time, it's this guy called Marty Marion from 1944, when like half the league was off in World War II. He batted 267 and won MVP. Like it would be fairly unprecedented, but like we said, he could win it, and like this would be the sort of the batting equivalent of the Felix Hernandez Cy Young or the Jacob deGrom Cy Youngs, like moving away from wins being an important stat, as important of a stat for awards voting. This would be a very big like signal change for moving away from batting average.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna bring in Shohei's last season, but he was pretty close to the Triple Crown there. Like it really came down to the wire. for show last year. But poor Luis Arias, you know what? That's the real proof in the pudding there, Dan, is that we don't look at Luis Arias and think like, oh yeah, that guy's an MVP candidate.
Yeah,
sorry,
but
Luis.
I don't know. We like random guys been winning the batting average title for the last couple. Like I remember Freddie Sanchez winning for the Pittsburgh Pirates was the first time that I was like, oh, a player doesn't necessarily have to be a star to win the batting title.
Yeah.
That was like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this would be unprecedented in terms of MVP. Like 240, he's batting under 250, which if you told a guy even like what 20 years ago that a guy was winning MVP with a batting average under 250, that would be crazy. But now he's the favorite, and rightfully so.
And speaking of, and just to go touch on Judge one more time, that first half was monster. We were talking Bonzian, and I mean, even the batting average was like 355. The OPS was touching 1-2. Like it was nasty. And so if you could have kept that up, we would be having a totally different conversation right now.
Didn't hurt his elbow, this wouldn't be close. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Cal, despite the fact that he has 50 home runs in August 26th, right? Like,
yeah.
So bummer there, but shout out to Aaron Judge. Just an all-time great. All right. Speaking of another all-time great, he's on pace for the 35th or 36th 50-plus home run campaign in the history of MLB. And this might be his 4th unanimous MVP award, which is crazy. Three has not happened in American sports. Mostly because I don't know who the hell hates Barry Bonds that much, but come on, dog.
You know who hates Barry Bonds. It's not like we aren't aware of why he was hated. There's a reason why he intentionally tried to hit it at in San Francisco.
Anyway, so it's minus 5,000 last I checked, boys. It's pretty rough. It should be a little closer than that. I feel like there's some guys here that can, take a stab at it. Like, Dan, what do you think? Is there anyone who can kind of take a stab at this and maybe try to dethrone Shohei, or are we just?
I think the margin is too big right now. Like he is, like he was already the margin in batting was already large, and now he's pitching pretty well. Like his ERA is large. Higher than we're used to with him. It's in the mid 4s, but his strikeouts are just as great as always. And this is a guy who is also the best batter in the league. Once the pitching started and was as solid as it has been, it only solidified the gap between him and whoever is behind him. There was guys earlier in the year, guys like Pete Crow Armstrong or Kyle Tucker were nipping at his heels to a certain extent, but both of those guys have had huge slumps. Their numbers are not close to him anymore. And if Kyle Schwarber might hit 50 home runs, cool, but so will Shohei, and with much better batting around him and also pitching. I don't think there's much of a case for anyone else, or
I think the real question,
path forward.
The real question is it unanimous again, Dan?
Yeah. I mean, it should be with the level of separation that he has with everyone else in the NL. Yeah, it should be.
I think if the Dodgers don't win the division, I think someone puts Tatis ahead of them.
Oh my God! Shut the hell up! Are you serious?
Tatis is right there with them in BWAR right now. Fangraphs, there's a bigger spread.
Oof.
But I mean, I think if they lose the division after all the offseason hype of super team and everything I think there will be a couple voters who will throw a vote to the guy that is close-ish that beat the super team in the regular season. That's just what my gut tells me. If the Dodgers win the division, I think he'll be unanimous and no one's going to say anything. But I could definitely see PCA or Tatis sneaking a vote. Otherwise, what's shocking to me, honestly, is that number 2 on this. The only person who's even remotely close to him in the betting odds is Kyle Schwarber, which, I mean, what?
Are you guys paying attention at all?
Yeah.
I mean 50 home runs, which is a very real possibility for him, is just fun. People, People see 50 home runs and they're like, oh, that's an MVP candidate. Like that hasn't changed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, that's a cool like top 5 vote you can give out. I guess like, but you really if Tommy's a lock to hit 50. You're really gonna throw it to Schwarber, who's worse in every single way. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, okay, my reference war zealots. PCA is still ahead because his production comes at also with some incredible center field defense. And so we really got to give some credit there. I think some biased Chicago Tribune beat writer might do it.
I can see that.
Yeah, I don't think unanimous is in play this year.
But I could see that. But again, I think with the fall off, I would be surprised. I think again, we're talking about whether he'll win unanimously or not. Like, there could be a guy. There could be, like there could always be a guy. Like
he's winning, guys. Like we're not. Yeah, it would be a travesty at this point. Like he's winning.
I think Tatis is the bigger threat if the Padres beat you guys in the division. That's what I think. Just because all the Dodger
if we get beaten in the division, you could see a guy Tatis getting thrown a vote. You could see PCA getting thrown a vote. You could see Schwarber getting thrown a vote by a Philadelphia guy. Like it wouldn't be deserved.
That would be unconscionable, Dan. Schwarber and that group of names would be unconscionable. I'm sorry.
Again, like he's second in.
No, stop it! Everyone, stop.
Again, people live in Philadelphia and love the Phillies.
Yeah. Why? Why him? Like, absolutely. No, we could totally see that.
That's kind of how I feel. And I know, like, where you finish the division really shouldn't matter too much. And it hasn't affected the races recently, really. But I do think it can affect votes on the margins. And I think it can stop something from like unanimous for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Well, ho-hum and LMVP.
Again.
Yeah. And, it'll be nice to see Shohei win his 4th one. I'm happy for him. Like, we're really witnessing 2 legitimate all-time greats in Aaron and Show, and it's pretty cool to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Merv.
No,
it's your 2 least favorite markets. Anyway,
most of America's 2 least favorite markets.
Anyway, we'll be right back. When we get back, we're talking college football, gratitude rants and matchups. All right. So much for Hard Out at 5. Unless we want to truncate the CFB talk, but I want to do a little bit of USC preview and okay, fuck it, let's do it.
Just
go ahead, Dan.
I know very little about college football.
Oh, that's great. Then no worries. I won't throw you too much.
I'm trying to look for where USC is in this.
I think the only college football player that I'm like really aware of this year is Arch Manning.
Arch? Yeah, fair enough. I don't even know the name of the Ohio State wide receiver that I just put down here, or the Clemson quarterback. Like, I just forgot their names already. So.
I knew I knew the Clemson quarterback's name at the end of last season, but most of that information has been purged by now.
Yeah,
I have to relearn it.
Well, we'll get to that. It starts this week, so in earnest, I guess. College football starts for real this week, I guess. So, and we're back. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's time. It's time for college football, and I, as a USC fan, it's hard to get excited about college football this year after the year we just had, but we'll get to that in a bit. Murph, you are our resident college football guy. So what's going on with Arch? Is he going to win the Heisman? Like, what are we talking about with this kid? Like, he's getting a crazy amount of hype. Like, what's the deal with him? And what are you looking forward to in this coming week?
Yeah, I mean, the big game this week is Arch Manning and #1 Texas going on the road to the Horseshoe to face #3 and the defending national champs Ohio State. I mean, that's a headline in of itself. If that doesn't get you hyped for college football, I don't know what else can really do it. I mean, these are obviously 2 of the top 3 defending teams. This is the most hyped prospect we've had in a while. I'm struggling to think of someone that was on this level of hype. I mean, maybe Andrew Luck, but we're talking about, the nephew of Peyton Manning here, and with the athleticism of his older brother, who was a receiver. And you saw this last year when he was splitting time with Evers. they like to use his legs. Do not think of Peyton and Eli, statues in the pocket. That is not Arch Manning. He literally was brought in to almost run a quasi wildcat with the Longhorns last year. They like his legs. They like his size. We have not seen too much of him as a passer, though. Evers missed a little bit of time. Arch looked good in the limited time he showed last year, but this is it. The reins are fully given to him. This is not the last time to see him, though. All indications seem to be he's going to follow the Manning's footsteps, and he's going to stay another year in college. That seems to be something the Mannings just seem to like to do. So it seems believable. Some people are saying this is to threaten to avoid the Browns, but that's another discussion entirely.
No respect for the Browns already, bro. Oh my God.
As for preseason number 1, this feels like Texas hype. Arch Manning has a lot on it. It just kind of like with Shador Sanders in Colorado being chronically overranked last year. I think Arch Manning and Texas are going to be chronically overranked this entire year. I do expect Ohio State to end up winning this. Ohio State's receiving core is just absolutely insane. And they've just been a wide receiver factory, ever since Marvin Harrison Jr. and company. They just keep churning out these guys that just make it absolutely impossible for teams to guard them. And it's hit the point where they ran Kyle McCord out of town. He puts up a great year at Syracuse, and they win the national title anyway. And Ohio State fans were probably right that he wasn't good enough for their receivers. And so they run out this guy who ended up being, a top 3 ACC quarterback, is no, not good enough for Ohio State. And, a lot of people call him arrogant, but they were right. he was not delivering at the level that they needed. So Ohio State, they're firing all cylinders. The one question is, they did lose Chip Kelly, who was their offensive coordinator. And if you remember, there were some issues with the offense in years past, pre-Chip. So we'll wonder if we get back to that. There's been a lot of criticisms of Ryan Day, especially how he runs the offense without other offensive guys around him. Remember, he's a wide receiver coach by trade. But they weirdly avoided running and kind of developing a good balance when he's fully calling the shots. So there's still some question marks for Ohio State, but first game at the Shoe. I think, this is a great chance for Ohio State to get a signature win. But yeah, this is just a great way to start off the college football week 1, even though, week 0 started with Farmageddon in Dublin, which was a very sloppy affair. Iowa State pulled it out over Kansas State. Both are ranked teams. But yeah, so
that's my favorite name for
Farmageddon. Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
The other big game this week, though, is Miami versus Notre Dame. This is a long historic rivalry that's gone back, 30-something years. ESPN has a good 30 for 30 on it if anyone wants to check it out. So that's the other huge game they have. LSU, Clemson. Seem like they play every other year as the battle for which one has the real Death Valley and which one's the real Tigers. Can you guys really not come up with different names?
The Tiger Bowl.
Yeah. So yeah, there are 3, I think, marquee matchups this weekend in college football. But Texas, Ohio State definitely leads the way. Those are national brands, national programs, and a bunch of guys you're going to be seeing on Sundays.
Also would like to apologize to the University of Auburn for doing that just now.
Right. College sports just has a million Tigers and a million Wildcats. Really, those are the
But only one Trojan.
What? There are tons. Troy.
What?
It's the Troy of the Trojans for one.
Never
just
heard
off the
of
top
them.
of my head. I spent all
Strange.
2 seconds thinking about that.
Just one Trojan, Collin. No other Trojans. Let's do matchups, gratitudes, and rants and bring it home. I'll start actually today, real quick. Matchup I'm looking forward to. Collin alluded to it already. Notre Dame versus Miami. This is a really find out who's for real game. And preseason polls be damned. I never like preseason polls. As a USC fan, I've been on the wrong end of that many times. I just want to see who's for real. And I just think Notre Dame's going to get squashed. For some reason, I just don't trust their early season anything. But well, let's find out. That's what it's for. So looking forward to this matchup. Gratitude. Whew, man. I've actually talked about this before, but the USC coaching staff has gotten a huge boost in recruitment, and we've been actually hauling in quite the recruiting class for 2026. A lot of that has to do with the new coaches who've come in. I believe Rob Ryan's in the room. We've got just a plethora of great coaches. The university calls me for money, like your cousin who has gambling debts, and it's insane that we have this super well-stocked football program. But yeah, we have the number 2 recruiting class in the country in 2026, according to 24/7 Sports. I am grateful for this. I really think the Trojans could make some noise this year. We had a lot of close losses last year, a lot of one-possession losses. The core is coming back. The defense is bigger. The defensive front seven is a lot bigger. There's a lot to like here. So I'm grateful for this USC team sticking together. I heard Jaden Mayava learn to go through a progression and make a read. That remains to be seen, but looking forward to it. A lot to be optimistic about. Rant. Why look at the heavy hitting college football matchups we got, and then USC is playing like Missouri State. We gotta stop these fucking quasi bye week college football matchups. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, perception is everything in college football, and to go from as objective or like numbers based like award selection, like MLB awards, like Cy Youngs, and to like the most nebulous and ridiculous, like fucking determining which school gets to go to the fucking playoff. Like, it is ridiculous. And yeah, there is no logistically sound way to determine who really belongs in the playoff without, this kind of subjective ranking. But if you're going to pad your resume with these bullshit teams, like, I don't know what you expect when it's time to like determine. So I'm sick of these stupid, like when Alabama used to play the Citadel and shit like that. It's just like, bro, what are we doing here? Like SEC teams then would like all follow suit and have 3 preseason games where they like, if you lose, like something went horribly wrong. Like I just like, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, it does open up possibility for like Appalachian State level upsets. Like,
yeah, but that's like Michigan, right? Like,
yeah.
Which, like, okay, fair enough. That was an amazing moment. But like, I mean, we're talking about Alabama versus Citadel. Like, I think the line for that game was like 55. Like, it was insane.
Most of them are just like.
Just what the hell, guys? Like, you can't have a 55-point spread in a fucking college football game, please. All right, that's unwatchable. Anyway, that's my rant. Play some real freaking teams. I love that everybody else is doing it. People need to cut it out and play some real teams, please.
I mean, this is Lincoln Riley's MO though, and something.
Don't you put this on Lincoln?
It is. USC literally never played an FCS school before Lincoln Riley came. They were one of the last teams to ever do it, including Notre Dame. They start coming with him, and now they're playing teams like Missouri State. This is literally a Lincoln Riley thing. Of course, I'm going to blame Lincoln Riley. No other USC coach in history has done this.
No, I agree. It hasn't happened in SC. We used to play Alabama week 1. Like, we had a 3-year stretch where I think out of 2 of them we played Alabama. It was in week 1.
Barkley or Mark Sanchez went to the Horseshoe as a freshman or whatever, and you guys ended up winning. Like, those are the games that USC used to play back in the Pete Carroll days.
But I'm ranting in general.
I will counterpoint that by saying, like, again, the USC era that I remember the most is the Leinart Bush years, and I remember we started the season against San Jose State.
They're D1.
Yeah, but that shit was
D1. But
that
like,
shit was not close. Like, come on. Like,
yeah. I mean,
and it was like for a while.
We did schedule cupcakes, but not FCS. Like, that's a different level.
I would say I'm a little more sympathetic to it when you're doing it in state, because I do understand the argument of schools keeping the money in the state, especially if you're a public school. I realize it's not relevant to USC, who's private, but I'm more thinking Arizona and Arizona State when they play NAU every year. Which I think they're actually mandated to do.
Yeah, I know that. Wasn't that compulsory? Like, you have to.
But no, I forgive teams for doing that when it's in state. When you're flying a team out from halfway across the country to get their ass whooped as an FCS school, it's kind of like, dude, what are we doing? You couldn't find a Big West school like that you couldn't like beat the shit out of. What's UC Davis up to?
You know what? They were probably the ones willing to take the least amount of money. Okay, like, and honestly, like, no, USC has scheduled cupcakes, including like Fresno State. All due respect to Fresno State, that's actually a solid football
Fresno
program.
State
But
used to be ranked when they had the Carr brothers, Devontae Adams.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to dunk all over Fresno State, but I am saying we did definitely schedule them post Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. Okay, like it was not like, come on, like we would do this a lot, and so fair play to USC. No, I'm talking about in general. If you want to make a splash, make a fucking splash, dude. It's the beginning of the season. Do something for us fans, man. Like I don't want to see a bunch of fucking 55-0 blowouts where your second team's in before the halftime. Like, what the hell? So like, anyway, that's my.
I agree. It's what makes the opening weekend for college football so like hit or miss, because you have Texas, Ohio State, and then you have Oregon playing Montana State, USC playing Missouri State, and like all these other games going on. You're kind of
I didn't know there was a Montana State, to be honest with you. All due respect, but all due disrespect. I didn't even know Montana State existed. Like, what the hell?
Bozeman, Montana.
Oh, Bozeman's a nice place.
Yeah.
I do like Bozeman.
All right.
Present for the coldest day ever recorded in Bozeman, actually.
All right.
Passing through.
I fucking hate this place. It's usually not this bad. All right, Dan, what do you got?
All right. Yeah, lots of interesting matchups this week. So many that I can't even get into. The BWF Badminton World Championships, which end this weekend. We have Freddie Peralta against Shane Bieber. We have Chris Sale against Christopher Sanchez. We have Shota Minaga against Logan Webb. We have Pavetta against Joe Ryan. A bunch of great pitching matchups. Eurobasket also starts this week with all the stars playing: Nikola Jokic, Giannis, Luka. Even the like lower tier teams, like Lauri Markkanen is leading the Finnish team. Nikola Vucevic is leading Montenegro. Like it's a pretty stacked lineup, and like teams like France and Spain and Germany, which are all really good, are also playing. I think the best matchup I saw for this week is Luka's Slovenia against France, which should be a pretty good opening appetizer. But the matchup that I'm most looking forward to is Arsenal against Liverpool this Sunday. Arsenal is coming off a 5-0 win and 2 wins on the trot, and might be against the reigning champs and the most likely other team competing for the championship this year. It should be a really exciting opening matchup, like to really get the season started after a couple of less. Sorry to Man U, a couple of less. This will be the first big matchup of the season, so I'm excited about that. And again, the thing I'm most thankful for is everything related to Arsenal right now. Like, again, they won the first 2 games. Apparently they can't stop spending and buying players. They've bought Victor Gyökeres, Martin Subimendi. They scooped Eberechi Eze away from Tottenham at the last second, which was great. And apparently they're close to doing it again with Hincapié, the defender from Ecuador. Everything's coming up Arsenal right now, and that is lovely to see. I also wanted to shout out the Adrian Beltre statue, which they unveiled in the Texas Rangers Stadium, which is him doing one of his falling to his knee home runs, which I thought was great because I don't remember any other player. That's such an image that I associate with him specifically, and I thought it was a great choice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I need to put this up. Hold on. You guys need to see this. This is dope. Holy mackerel. Please excuse me for a moment. I mean, look at that beauty. Holy moly. That's a
Adrian
banger.
Beltre. And a very fitting tribute for a great player and a Hall of Famer.
Never.
Rants. I wanted to shout out how stupid it is that Trump keeps inserting himself into sports as every way that he can. He was tweeting about how Roger Clemens needs to be put into the Hall of Fame right now, and Clemens came out and celebrating that. Apparently they golfed over the weekend, and so this is now his topic du jour. Also, apparently the World Cup trophy lives in the Oval Office now, which is very dumb and very reminiscent of Putin stealing Bob Kraft's Super Bowl ring. But even worse than those news is that apparently ESPN has bought the rights to MLB.TV. So
no,
after they bought Red Zone earlier this year, and now they bought MLB.TV. They're just extending their tentacles and destroying all the good streaming services. So
ESPN fucking sucks, dude.
ESPN fucking sucks. Yeah. And their streaming sucks so much.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Their login thing is like infinite glitches, like 1,000 times
it's
where you can't even
so
see
bad.
What you're supposed to. It's
holy shit. As a UFC like ESPN Plus previous like subscriber, there's nothing more infuriating than paying $75 for a pay-per-view for it to fucking not work. Like, it is the worst. Like, ESPN sucks, dude. Like,
it's so bad.
So bad. Fuck ESPN. Sorry. I know it's your rant, but sorry.
No, it's all good. Usually I can't find a good rant, but the second I saw this headline, I'm like, okay, this I hate. So yeah. Honestly, it's surprising it's taken this long for me to do an accent on this podcast, given how my last podcast did. But there should be a solution for this.
Damn.
Yeah,
that was fucking terrible, Dan.
I see why.
Yar.
I don't think you're gonna get an award for
why are you trivializing this horrible piece of news, Dan? Like, don't add levity. Like, this is, I feel like I found out my imaginary dog died. This is bullshit, man. Oh, fucking ESPN blows, dude. God.
Yeah.
Golly, man.
Apparently they also bought MLB Network. So just a double whammy.
Oh my fuck. Yo. Also, Dan, have you noticed that they're like just ball washing all the NFL owners because they have a stake in the NFL now? Like,
yeah,
it's so bad.
I mean, yeah, good old Disney.
Yeah.
Also, Netflix acquired the Home Run Derby, but only the Home Run Derby, which will be which is odd.
It's like no, not WrestleMania, just the pre-card. You can catch the rest of WrestleMania on ESPN.
In fairness, that is the biggest event that night, so it's not like you're the lead into the actual game. So
we got the 3-point contest in the skills challenge, but All-Star game on TNT.
Yeah.
What the actual fuck? Okay.
That's all I have.
How are you gonna top that, Murph?
Matchup. It's the PGA Tour Championship tournament finalized this weekend. Scotty Scheffler's almost certainly going to win it, though. Tennis, U.S. Open. So, the last major coming through. But the big thing for me, I guess, would be soccer. You get Chelsea Fulham, the West London Derby this weekend. But I think the big one is Sporting versus Porto in the Portuguese league. Anytime Sporting, Porto, and Benfica play, it turns into absolute anarchy. I believe it was 2 games ago when these two teams played. There was a late equalizer, led to a red card and some scuffling, and they caught on camera one of the assistant coaches pickpocketing the head coach of the other team with his wallet. The coach couldn't find the wallet after the game. They went back to the video and they saw, an assistant coach literally during the scruff went and stole the guy's wallet from his pocket. There is always ridiculous stuff that happens in these matches. For anyone that can try and watch it, please do. There's going to be like 30 minutes of extra time between the two halves as these two teams just absolutely just shithouse each other. It should be very, very entertaining. What am I grateful for? College football, actually. The SEC has finally got with the times, and they're going to adopt a 9-game conference schedule. This is like 2 decades late compared to most conferences, but hey, better late than never. At least they can't play 4 cupcakes every year now. Instead, it's 3. And this finally gets me the whole point of especially with conference enlargement, you should play every team. If a senior should play in every stadium in the conference, and that now officially can happen. And they're going to ensure that happens. And you play every team twice if you stay for all 4 years. This to me is the bare minimum what a conference should be. To think that you can have a 4-year starter basically say, oh no, I've never played that team or I've never played in that stadium is just ridiculous to me. It's like, how can you say you're a conference? Like, what level of like connectivity do you really have if you're literally never going to play at each other's place? The only exception for that should really be Florida and Georgia players, because they always play in Jacksonville, which that whole setup is like really unique and great. My rant. Well, first I'll start with the rant on here, because this is gonna be the Little League World Series. Shout out Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, whatever. Absolutely dominant run. Only gave up runs to one team the whole tournament, Venezuela. Absolutely cooked the U.S. 7-0 in the final. But still, something I always have a beef with sports on. Why is there such limited review, and why do we exclude things that are so obvious? I was watching Aruba versus Venezuela, and Venezuela had a situation where there was a runner. It was 1-0. Aruba was up. There was a runner on first and second. Ball gets popped up into the air. Guy clearly traps it, but they call an out. And then they called them for doubling up the runner as well, because the runners were a little confused on it. Ending double play, when easily this should have been bases loaded, 1 out. Absolutely changed the whole thing of the game. And the announcers were quick to point out, as when the announcers came up, when the umps came together, they cannot review this. Why? Why can't they review if a ball is caught? That seems like such a base thing to review. I get not wanting to do balls and strikes to an extent, but this is such a cookie cutter like thing, like a out at first or a tag. Why was that an exclusion? Why do teams constantly put in replay in the dumbest ways possible? Why do as every league do this? What is the point of limited replay? We want to be accurate only sometimes. Like, what is the point of what we're doing here? You have the technology. It's honestly just embarrassing when we can replay something in 2 seconds and the whole world knows what the call is except for the umps. Like, how is that making the game better or like less frustrating for everyone involved? Also, small shout out to, what the hell are those bases made of? Fix them in harder. They were like, kids were like sliding in the second on steal plays, and they were absolutely like, the whole base was moving like a full base length, and they were sliding completely over it. There's no way that's safe, because they're probably connected by metal or something on the bottom that could totally scrape someone. Like, fix the bases. I've never seen that happen before in baseball, where the bases just fly off like that when people are sliding into them. Utterly ridiculous. It makes it look Bush League, and Little League World Series is such a great event. It can do better.
Wow. I did not have Liga Portugal on my matchup bingo card, but maybe I'll tune in. This is good stuff. We should find out why replay is so like Swiss cheesed up. You know, it's like there are some gaping holes in replay of what can and cannot be reviewed, and I'm almost certain that there's a lawyer at fault for this. Like, it's some fucking lawyer made it this way. I just want to find out who.
I'm certain at least in baseball, the umpires union.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like from all accounts, the umpires union is all for the challenge system and everything. It's the players who are kind of against it, because especially the ones that came up to the minor league, they're just balls that get called strikes, and strikes that are balls that they're just not used to, even from the batter and pitcher side. And it leaves both kind of frustrated to an extent. While the umps kind of are okay with it, because I think they're kind of tired of just taking all the shit from everyone. But
I thought, yeah.
My understanding is the last time the MLB put it up, the umpires union approved it and the players union rejected it.
Really? That's really interesting. Oh, thank you, Collin. That's a good tidbit. Yeah, between that and the NBA, like some of these just fucking, are you kidding me? Like just truly Byzantine, like yeah. Not, we're okay with this, but not with this. Like, what the
But also, like the NBA, particularly, like the NBA can almost be a test case in the opposite direction. Like some of the long reviews that just stop the game completely.
Yeah.
To see if a guy's tipping the ball out from like one fingertip or another, like that. Like if you're reviewing everything, like you get at risk of doing something like that. And that's bad in the opposite direction.
That's a good point. It's especially jarring for a game that's as fast paced as NBA when it's really humming. So yeah, that's a good point.
Nothing like watching the king of that though in the NBA, which was watch the ball be given to one team. You watch the replay. It clearly goes off the other guy, but there's a blatant foul committed, but we can't replay the foul.
Yeah.
So even though the whole world sees this blatant foul, we're going to give the team that fouled the ball because that's replay. This is good for the game. I'm glad we waited 10 minutes for you to make that decision.
Damn, Draymond kicked somebody in the nuts. Did you see that? Yeah, that was crazy. All right, Golden State ball.
Yeah, but they literally made it unreviewable. Like that's the part that blew my mind. Wherever blatant hack or whatever. Oh no, you touched it last actually. You know?
Yeah, sucks to suck. Yeah. Anyway, this was as tidy as they come episode wise. So as you can see, we're starting to get a little more focused in here. So if you haven't already, give us a like, give us a subscribe. When we go online, we try to make it every Tuesday at around 4 o'clock, 3:45 ish. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Euno Lee, joined by my co-host, award-winning songwriter Dan Grievitz, and future Caltech Athletics Hall of Famer Collin Murphy. This has been another edition of Everyone Hates Us. Wherever you are, be safe, healthy, and happy. Love you guys. See you next week.